Students, we have already seen the introductory part for the atomic and molecular physics, and I have also given the syllabus, and I hope you have gone through the independent topics of the syllabus. So we will be starting with the first topic, that is regarding the hydrogen atom, and not only the hydrogen atom, but we will be going for the quantum theory of the hydrogen atom. Now we will be obviously using the Schrodinger equations, and when we will solve this equation and get the solution in terms of the wave function psi, the output will be that we will be able to understand the behavior of electron in the hydrogen atom. Now you all know that according to the Bohr theory, in the hydrogen atom, when the electron is moving around the nucleus, means around the proton, which is almost 1836 times greater, massive compared to that of mass of electron, is at the center, and electron is moving around it. But while moving around the circular orbits, obviously the angle theta is changing, and since the orbits are considered to be circular, r is constant. So we have a single degree of freedom according to Bohr theory. But later on, Sommerfeld added the concept that not all the orbits are circular, but there are some orbits which are elliptical. The elliptical orbits can be of two types, that is the prolate and the oblate ellipse. And circular orbit is the specific part of that. In that sense, now there are 2 degrees of freedom, means r also is changing and theta also is changing. And later on, according to the space quantization concept, the third term, that is phi, the azimuthal angle, is also considered. So finally we have 3 terms, that is r, theta and phi, and these 3 are the degrees of freedom for the behavior of electron in the hydrogen atom. Now what we are trying to understand is, we are trying to understand the exact position and behavior in the orbital sense in the hydrogen atom. But how the electron is moving around the nucleus? It is moving under the action of a force. Now which type of force we are considering? This is the force of attraction. Why it is force of attraction? Because proton is considered to be positive and electron is negative, and there is the force of attraction between opposite charges. So this Coulomb force of attraction is considered for the motion of the electron. In that sense, the energy of the electron will be considered in 2 parts. Obviously, for any particle, the total energy is the summation of kinetic energy and potential energy. So for electron also, the total energy E will be kinetic energy plus potential energy. This kinetic energy is given as half mv square, where m is the mass of electron and v is the orbital velocity, the velocity with which it is moving around the nucleus or proton. Now, when we go for the term of potential energy, it is given by minus E square by 4 pi epsilon naught r. So we have both the terms for the electron energy. Now, while applying the quantum theory, first of all we'll have to see the geometry of this particular figure or this particular solar type of or planetary type of motion. So now we will consider this particular figure where we are going to consider at the center the position of proton, that is plus E, means proton is here, and when we will consider this electron which is over here, obviously the distance between the proton and electron will be small r, that is the radial distance. Now I am drawing the perpendiculars from the particular axis. This is x, y and z. So I am drawing the perpendicular from here, and then similarly we will be going for all the other perpendiculars. This is the replica of this particular point. Now here this angle is theta, and when we will see this angle, this is phi. Now look at this figure. There are three tones like r, that is the distance between proton and electron. Theta, this is the angle, and this phi is also azimuthal angle. Now when we consider all these aspects, this is x, so we have this as x, this as x, this is y, z and z. Now if you try to understand the geometry of this figure, then we can have the relations between x, y, z and r, theta, phi. So those relations I am going to write over here. Here r is this under root x square plus y square plus z square. According to this, your theta will be cos inverse of z upon r, and according to this, phi will be tan inverse of y by x. Okay, so these are the all relations. You don't exactly need these equations to be substituted anywhere further, but you should know how x, y, z and r, theta, phi are interrelated, because r, theta, phi are the spherical polar coordinates. So we will be deriving the next equations, that is the Schrodinger equation, in which we will be using the del operator, and that del operator will be used in the form of spherical polar coordinates. Now we will see first how you can go for the operator. This is the del operator. This operator is written like this. Now we want del square, so it will be del dot del. So we will have these two brackets like this, and again into the same bracket, that will be taken in the form of, it will be like I square dou by dou x plus j square dou by dou y plus k square dou by dou z. Now why this del square will be like this? I hope you understand that I dot I, that is I square, it is 1. But I dot j, I dot k or j dot k all are 0. So finally we will get the final term for dou square. It will be like this, dou by dou x. It will be like this. In the earlier equation also it should be square. So it will be your del square, okay, but it is in the terms of x, y and z. Now we want this equation in terms of the spherical polar coordinates, that is r, theta and phi. So you will have to remember that equation. And here I am writing the terms which are the dou terms. These are not the d terms. So that also you will have to understand. This is the final term. I'll first explain these terms. See here. This is your del square operator in spherical polar coordinates, that is r, theta and phi. First term is 1 upon r square dou by dou r square dou by dou r, plus 1 upon r square, here sin theta is added, and then it is dou by dou theta, then sin theta dou by dou theta. This is 1 upon r square sin square theta, and it is dou square by dou phi square. Now if you observe this particular equation, that is the del square equation, you will have to remember that we are going to use it in the Schrodinger equation for hydrogen atom, and when we are considering all these terms, you can see that there are three variables, that is r, theta and phi. Therefore, it is the partial differential equation. Once we will obtain the Schrodinger equation for hydrogen atom, then we will be using the method of separation of variables for finding the ordinary differential equations, three equations, separate equations in terms of r, theta and phi. And there we can write d by dr or d by dz, whatever it is. But now it is dou terms. These are the dou terms. Now, you have to write down this because we will be using this equation in the next part. But I will not rub this, I'll first tell you what we are now going to do. We will use the concept of the Hamiltonian operator H, and that H is nothing but the total energy, that is E. So we have H psi is equal to E psi. Now what is psi? Psi is the wave function. That will be the solution of the three separate equations, and that solution only will make us understand how the electron behaves in the hydrogen atom. Now this H psi means H is the Hamiltonian operator which is operated on the wave function psi, and this H is equal to total energy E. Now what is this total energy? Earlier I had given you two parts like kinetic energy and potential energy. So the total energy will be the summation of kinetic energy and potential energy. So first of all we should know what is this Hamiltonian operator. Hamiltonian operator H is minus h cross square by 2m del square plus v. See, if you have written this equation, then I will go further with the application of this. See here, this is your H, Hamiltonian operator. Now we are going to arrange these terms to get the Schrodinger equation. So what we can do is, we can multiply throughout, means the LHS and the RHS by 2m by h cross square. So this will get cancelled, and then I'll take this negative term on the left hand side. So we will have it in terms of this del square psi plus, then the 2m by h cross square term will be there. At the place of h, I'll be writing the E, that is the total energy. And this E will be, this V will become minus. But earlier you know that V is this, minus E square by 4 pi epsilon naught R. So we are going to substitute this V. So this minus minus will become plus, and it will be E square by 4 pi epsilon naught R and psi. This psi is here. I'll let this take here only. It is equal to 0. So now this is our Schrodinger equation for hydrogen atom. Okay. Now we already have that del square term. So what we will be doing now? We will be using the del square term in r theta phi, means spherical polar coordinates, and it will be operated on psi. So that whole equation, the earlier equation, we will be using, and it will be operated on psi. So you can observe that this difference means, and then this term will be added. So that will be the whole equation. So now see here, earlier in that del square operator it was dou by dou r, but now we are operating it on psi. So it is dou psi by dou r. So it will go like this. I am taking this bracket over here. Now it will be 1 by r square sine square theta dou square psi by dou phi square. This is now only the first term. Then we have to write down the second term. Now see, this is the Schrodinger equation for hydrogen atom. But now what we will be doing, we will be arranging it in a particular form, and for that what I am going to do is I'll be multiplying this equation by r square sine square theta. See, you will have to do all these steps on your own. Not only by listening it will be possible, you'll have to write and do it on your own. So we are multiplying this equation by what? R square sine square theta. So what will be the next equation? In the first term, this r square will get cancelled, and here it will be sine square theta. So it will be sine square theta dou by dou r of r square dou psi by dou r, plus now multiplying this by r square sine square theta. So r square sine theta will get cancelled, and it will be only sine theta, then dou by dou theta of this bracket here. Now we have reached. Again we are multiplying by what? R square sine square theta. So this term will get cancelled, and it will be only dou square psi by dou phi square, plus in the last term we will have it like this.